Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and I'm here to recap. Confetti in my mouth, I don't care. Game 6 of the American League Championship Series. Houston wins 5-0 over the Red Sox, and they win the pennant. The desk is kind of a disaster area, but you know what? It's fine. We're fine. Ladies and gentlemen, you can begin the celebration, at least partway, because the Houston Astros, for the third time in 5 years, win the American League and advance to the third World Series in the past 5 years, looking to get their second ever World Series title. We are witnessing history. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't... Here's the thing, right? I want this to be quasi-well articulated, but, I mean, what is there to say? The Houston Astros right now are magnificent. This is... You're 4 wins away from being a dynasty. There's no other way to put it. In the past 5 years, you have won 4 division titles. You've made the playoffs a 5th time in those 5 years. 3 pennants. You could get a second World Series in those few years. 3 100-plus win seasons. I mean, you've won everything you can win. And during that 5-year stretch, you've also had an MVP, a Cy Young, and a Rookie of the Year. It maybe 2. Luis Garcia might win it this year. You might have a second one. There's no words to describe how incredible the Houston Astros are right now. It's the Astros world, baby, and we're just living in it. And we are lucky enough to be fans of this ball club. It's not quite a up-to-date hat, but I still have the 2017 World Series champions hat that they wore on the field. So this is as close as I can get right now to what we just won, which I gotta get that hat just because it's the first pennant the channel's witnessed. That's the thing, right? And I kind of mentioned this during the stream. Like, I'm not a big shot sports YouTuber or anything, but I love doing these. And I'm lucky enough to be talking about a perennially great team like the Astros, right? This is my 2nd year doing it, and now I'm going to be talking about World Series games. There are YouTubers for teams that haven't even talked about playoff games to this point. Steve Dangle, right? The Rosetta Stone of sports YouTube is yet to talk about a second round for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I am lucky enough now to be talking about a World Series appearance for the Houston Astros. Maybe more. We don't know. It's still incredibly early. And so while I want this video to talk about going to the World Series and obviously tonight's game, you kind of have to take a step back and look at this entire series for Houston and have a quasi-retrospective of how we even got here. Game 1, a super tight contest that the Astros just barely squeak out of. We almost didn't because Prosa gave up a home run in the top of the 9th, which made it a 5-4 game, which made Correa's home run a lot more important, right? So that happens, you win Game 1, it's a tight game, cool. Game 2, you get completely just punched down upon. You give up a grand slam, it's awful. And actually, that was in the 1st inning. You gave up a second grand slam in the next inning, right? It was awful. You start out, it's the 2nd inning. Before it's the bottom of the 2nd, it's been almost 2 hours, and you're down 8-0. I mean, at that point, Game 2 is already over, and you're just kind of hoping to save the bullpen for Game 3. And well, Game 3 doesn't really get a whole lot better because guess what happens? Another grand slam, right? Game 3 happens, and I'm probably going to make every live stream public just so that we can go back and save those. I want to work on eventually doing a highlights video for all of them because I think that would be really fun to do. But, right, Game 3, you get down in a hole early, another grand slam, you feel defeated, right? After Game 3, even midway through it, I was kind of in the thought process of like, oh, we're going to get eliminated here, right? I completely honestly, maybe this makes me a bad fan, it might. I'm not going to say it doesn't. After Game 3, I kind of had it in my head, I'm like, oh, we're going to lose the series, right? You got beat again, embarrassingly bad. This one was in Boston, and now you have the gauntlet of playing another 2 games in Boston after they have just gotten all of the momentum from 2 back-to-back blowouts with grand slams, right? No team had ever had 3 Grand Slams in a postseason series, and they had 3 in the first 3 games. All 3 of them in back-to-back games, right? Game 3 just felt almost like the start of a eulogy for the Astros this season, right? The pitching was terrible. The offense wasn't there. There were questionable calls from Dusty Baker. You just feel completely gutted after those 2 games. And then you had Maldonado and Jake Odorizzi give a speech to the clubhouse in a players-only meeting that, I mean, completely turned around the series. Because you had a team that now had the Herculean task to try to steal 1 against the Boston Red Sox in Fenway in the postseason when they have just stolen all the momentum from you. And by some miracle, they didn't just take 1, but they took both of them back in Fenway. Meaning we then head back to Houston with the opportunity to clinch, which we did tonight, and advance to our 3rd World Series. This series is also an absolute masterclass on rebounding, right? The last 2 games of the series started by Framber Valdez and Luis Garcia, who, first 2 games of theirs in this series, not so good. Framber, a pretty rough game 1 where the Astros would win, but still overall was not a good game for Framber Valdez. Chas McCormick is dancing like no one is watching, and everyone is watching. I wish I had the confidence that man has. Anyway, back to this, right? That happens. I mean, Garcia has a horrific game 2 where he gives up a grand slam and will be charged for 5 earned runs for 1 inning of work, and even has a slight leg injury. And we don't know if that was a leg injury or a Dusty, please get me out, I need an adult injury. But regardless, that's not really the point. He leaves early, a horrible start. And then you have that horrifying thought that game 5 and 6, which you really would like to win some of those, are going to be started by 2 players who had horrific starts in this series. Framber, 2 nights ago, when we needed him most to show up, he throws the best game of his career. 8 one-run innings, 1 walk, and completely shut down the Boston lineup. It was a magnificent game in Fenway to silence them. And then going into tonight, you get a little nervous because it's Garcia. Is he healthy? Is he, even going to be mediocre? What are you hoping for out of him? And Luis Garcia gave us 5 2/3 scoreless with, I want to make sure I'm correct, I believe 8 strikeouts. I could be wrong. 7 strikeouts for Luis Garcia. 1 walk, 1 hit. He had maybe his best game of his career. And when we needed them most, everyone showed up. When in these final 3 games of this series, after Boston completely embarrassed us, all the chips were down. And I said that. After game 3, I said, it's time to figure out who we are. Because you have been completely embarrassed, and now we got to know. Are we a team that's going to fight, or are we going to lose all hope? We found out what it is. This team is truly, truly special. They come back. They fight their way back. And when we truly need them, when all bets are off, when all the chips are down, the offense, the defense, the starters, and the relievers all showed up and met the bill. All right, let's talk about Yordan Alvarez. Man, oh man, Yordan has really this year started to make his name publicly known in baseball, right? He's really started to put himself on the map. And this series, Yordan showed out like no other player did. Batted .522. Over the last 3 games, had more. He was a better hitter over the last 3 games than the entirety of the Boston Red Sox. Yordan Alvarez, who was just a little nothing pickup back a few years ago from the Dodgers, had the best stretch of his career here against the Boston Red Sox. Well deservingly wins American League Championship Series MVP and helps guide the Astros to their 3rd pennant in 5 years, including a 4-for-4 night tonight with an RBI. The game-winning RBI in the first inning, but I don't care. The ALCS winning RBI goes to Yordan Alvarez. What a series by him. This series, everybody's going to know who Yordan Alvarez is going into next year. And man, oh man, we are not even close to the beginning of this man's prime. I mean, we get to watch him develop, and he is going to become a horrifying designated hitter. Do another one, shall we? Boom! Nailed it. Boom! Nailed it. What an evening. What a game. Oh, the game! I should probably actually talk about the game. I nearly forgot about that. Yeah, so what happened tonight? How did we get here, right? That's probably where I should be talking about. So, scoring starts, first inning. Yordan Alvarez hits one dead center field, a deep ball. And Kike Hernandez, who has been excellent this whole series, miffs it. Yordan gets the hit. Alex Bregman comes all the way around. Yordan is safe with a stand-up double. And the Astros take the 1-0 lead after the first inning. In the sixth, the Astros score what might be the weirdest run of the season with a really convoluted double play where I guess it hit the ground. I don't know. I didn't really look at it that well. Kyle Schwarber grabs it, makes a double play, throws home late, and it was very, very, very strange. Yordan would score on just a weird, I don't even know what that was. It wasn't a sacrifice. It was just very strange, but at the same time, at that point, it's such a close game, you're just kind of going, you know, I'll take the 2-0 lead, thank you. And in the bottom of the eighth, when the Astros needed some insurance to really put it away and put the final nail in the coffin of the Boston Red Sox, Kyle Tucker, 3-run home run into the Crawford boxes. When I say a wall scraper, oh boy, I mean a wall scraper. Didn't get it by much, but 1 foot or 60 doesn't matter. It counts all the same. Kyle Tucker with a massive home run to just absolutely put the finishing touch on Game 6. Would give it to Presley in the ninth. He had a pretty nice inning. And the Astros begin their celebration. I should probably touch on pitching next, I suppose. Luis Garcia, after a horrific start where he goes 1 inning allowing 5 earned runs and a grand slam, comes back to have the best game of his career to this point. 5 2/3, 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. Luis Garcia with a masterpiece this evening and really just silenced a potentially lethal Red Sox offense and kept them completely dead silent for the first 5 2/3. Phil Maton would come in, nice, easy little pop-out, gets out of it, no problem there, nothing really even concerning. I believe it was 1 pitch to be exact. After that, Kendall Graveman came in. He was shaky, but he got out of it. Gave up a walk, gave up a hit, but got a pair of strikeouts. Nice inning by him. Ryan Stenick came in. He dealt. He did really good. Should have had a strikeout, ended up not. He gets a clean inning. Ryan Presley comes in for the ninth, and he has a 1-2-3 with a strikeout. And the Astros, in the process of what could end up being one of the greatest vengeance tours in the history of baseball, beat the Red Sox en route to the pennant. And I mean, man, after that, you gotta feel like you could beat anyone. This is an incredible series by Houston. Wow. We're going to the World Series. Oh. I'm getting chills as I just stand here, man. So I genuinely want to say thank you to anyone who's watched any of the recaps this season or last season or of any sport. Thank you to anyone who tuned into the stream. Those have been just so much fun. Oh. Man, oh man. So now, we set our sights on the Fall Classic, the World Series. We're going to know who we play either tomorrow or Sunday. If it's the Dodgers, we will play in LA, which is horrifying. And if it's the Braves, we will play in Houston. Game 1, I believe, is 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And that's tentatively. I think that's tentatively. And man, as soon as I know who we're playing, I will work on a preview video for that. It's going to be tough if we're playing the Dodgers. I really hope we're playing the Braves. I'm hoping we're playing the Braves. But, man, that'll be in the next few days. We're in the World Series, guys. One more for the road, shall we? We'll do one more popper for the road. Not too shabby. I'll do one more sip. So thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. And as always, go Astros.